Morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Monday, the 4th of January. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar and the hourly candlesticks, bearish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 33,272. Take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 34,569. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 34,000 levels. So buying extended crypto rally on the day. Expect that first major resistance level and Sunday's high at 34,873 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, should see Bitcoin test resistance at 37,000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 36,170. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 31,671 into play. Buying and extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 31,000 levels. Second major support level sits at 33,774. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a widening of the bearish histogram this morning, supporting this early morning pullback. And we're seeing the 50 flatten on the 100 and the 200, supporting this early downside. So key through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 33,272 and back through to 34,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across Ethereum against the US dollar, bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot at 921.86 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 1073.72. Going to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high that was at 1015.14. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 1100 to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, should see Ethereum test resistance at 1200 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1167. Fall through the pivot level would bring the first major swell sitting 828.58 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 800 levels. 23.6% fib sits at 795. Second major support level sits at 676.72. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a narrowing of the bullish histograms, but nothing suggestive of a bearish cross yet. So keep an eye on that. On the MAs, we're seeing the 50 move away from the 100 and the 200, supporting further upside through the morning. So key through the early part of the day, avoid the pivot at 91.86, break back through yesterday's high 1015.14 to bring resistance levels into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to need to Litecoin avoid the pivot at 154 to take a run at the first major resistance level, say at 172.5. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high 164.98. So barring an extended rally on the day, that first major resistance level, resistance at 175, should limit any upside. In the event of another breakout, Litecoin could test resistance at 190 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 183.48. A fall through the pivot level would bring the first major support level at 143.02 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should still well clear of the 23.6% fib at 132. Second major support level sits at 124.52. Looking at the MACD, slight narrowing of the bullish histogram after avoiding a bearish cross late yesterday, so you need to keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, however, we're seeing the 50 pull away from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of further upside through the morning. So key through the early part of the day, avoid the pivot at 154, break out from yesterday's high 164.98 to bring 170 levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, also bearish early in the day. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move back through the pivot at 0.2264 to bring the first major resistance level at 0.2376 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break out from 0.235 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.23886 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, Ripple's XRP should test resistance at 0.25 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.25. Failure to move back through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 0.2140 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.21 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.2028. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a narrowing of the bullish histograms and a possible bearish cross there, so we need to keep an eye on the MACD. On the EMA, we're seeing the 50 narrow marginally on the 100, also supporting this early pullback. So failure to move back through the pivot 2264 and back through 0.235 levels would bring support levels into play.